Batten down the hatches and take the helm. It's time for adventure, seaside headlines, and a splash of mischief. Welcome to Marine Conservation Happy Hour, where coastal news meets pirate spirit, and every story comes with a twist. And now, your host, Dr. Scarlet Smash and Dr. Kraken McCracken.
This is the Marine Conservation Happy Hour. I'm Dr. Scarlet Smash, and this is Dr. Kraken, and we are your local Florida swashbucklers, bringing you Florida ocean and bay news topics, pirate stories, and shenanigans. Grab your drink and come on board. Dr. Kraken, happy Gasparilla. Here it is. Here we are. It's a fine day. It's a bit chilly, but it's a fine day, and the crowds are here. And it's exciting. But before we talk about Gasparilla, let's set the stage. Let's set the stage because we got to talk about who created, who was the legend behind Gasparilla.
Who is Gaspar?
Mr. Jose Gaspar. And honestly, this is a great story.
It is a wild story, isn't it? Absolutely
because
wild.
There's a million different stories, it feels like. There's a ton of different stories of what allegedly he did and how he became this pirate, the last buccaneer. But first, let's set the scene, Dr. Kraken. What Tampa looked like. It really wasn't Tampa the way that we know it now. It wasn't even actually a city at that point. There was no, roads. I sent you a picture, Dr. Kraken, of one of the best, oldest illustrations. It literally looks like someone drew a cow, maybe one cow, a chicken.
There's just one cow. It's a one cow town. Just one cow. In
and
a
lot of palm trees. It did have a lot of palm trees on there. But yeah, this was basically land of course it was owned by Spain at that point, but
and
it was
the
Seminoles.
Indians.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So it was mostly and pirates sailing around, but it was really mangroves, plentiful fish, food for all the indigenous, and you just kind of caught
the
indigenous people. You would catch the fish, you would cook it on an open fire. It was basically a fisherman's paradise.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a perfect place for a pirate ship to pull up, get some decent food instead of hard salted pork or whatever they would normally eat, and ship's biscuits, which are like thick graham crackers, often full of insects and bugs, when you could stop off here in Tampa and have like some nice food.
Well, but
shelter.
But pirates, okay, maybe you as a pirate, but pirates back then were opportunists. They would steal and eat whatever they come across, right? So most of them were malnourished. That's why when we think of pirates and we watch all these great pirate shows, Pirates of the Caribbean, oh my God, everyone's so sexy. Even Johnny Depp is sexy. And he's supposed to be the ugliest, crazy looking one. I mean,
he has all his teeth.
He has
how many pirates would have their teeth because of scurvy? Your teeth fall out.
Exactly. I mean, the malnutrition, the fresh water was hard to come by. And I mean, no sunblock.
Leathery skin.
You were right. They have leathery skin, probably sores.
Lice in their hair.
Lice. Yeah, they were a bit messy, a bit stinky. They were pretty much drunk most of the time, right, Dr. Kraken?
Yep, because the water was often so bad. They would have it in barrels on the ship, and it would like grow algae. It would become slimy. So because the water was horrible, they would put rum in it to basically be like a antiseptic. And they were given 2 pints of rum a day. And then they would cut that with water, and then they would squeeze some citrus or lime juice in so they wouldn't get scurvy,
that would have been easy
hopefully.
down here, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All the lime trees, even orange trees.
Possibly even orange trees.
Listen, rum and orange, I feel like is a great great pair.
Well, this is where the cocktail grog comes from. It's like 2 parts of water, 1 part of dark rum, and then a big squeeze of lime juice, and maybe a little bit of, I mean, to be historically accurate, it's probably cane sugar or a piece of sugar cane.
Absolutely.
That you mix it up, and boom, there you go. You have a historically accurate pirate cocktail that won't be full of all scummy green slimy algae.
So, actually they were certifiable alcoholics, but it was necessary. It was necessary back in the day. I love that. I love that term. High functioning alcoholics. Okay. So we've set the scene for you all. You guys understand that this area was not the same. It was owned by Spain at that point in time. There were pirates that were trying to be opportunists by stealing gold, silver,
spices, clothes, basically everything coming from Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Over to the new colonies. They could sneak out.
That's exactly right.
Sneak out from behind Florida and then go back and hide in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. And that's what's so funny about this whole story, or multiple stories of the alleged legend of Jose Gaspar, is his history. A lot of the ships, like we've mentioned, came in probably from Spain because they needed to bring some goods in to whoever was living here at the time.
They had a couple of forts to try and maintain the area and keep the British and French at bay. So they could have been coming in, providing goods.
Absolutely.
And then, pirates just hijacked them on the way.
Exactly. But what makes Gaspar's story so funny is that he himself was a Spaniard. Okay. So he was a Spaniard. So hold on, Dr. Kraken. Could he have been stealing from his own people? We have a lot to discuss when we're talking about the stories, the legends, because it gets good. But before we jump into that, let's talk about the Buccaneers, Dr. Kraken.
So,
because Jose Gaspar is supposed to be the last Buccaneer.
He's supposed to be one of the last Buccaneers because he didn't die until about 1820s, which is really late for the pirates. But now a Buccaneer is a pirate in the Caribbean, and they get their name. It's really crazy how they actually started up. They started up Buccaneers originally were food truck guys. Basically, they were people who lived in the Caribbean islands, and they would raise pigs or cows. They would catch turtles or manatees, and then they would barbecue them, and then they would take this fresh barbecued meat out to passing boats.
Oh, that's great money right there.
That were trading. Yeah, they were basically the fast food truck guys. They come up. You've been out there. You've been eating horrible salt pork. You've had no decent food. Here's some nice fresh.
That's entrepreneurship right there.
Yeah, here's some nice, basically manatee wings for you. Now, they started off doing this. They would paddle out in these small boats that they called fly boats. And then some entrepreneurial Buccaneers decided that, well, we're going out onto these boats. Why don't we just act like highwaymen and hold them hostage?
Well, I mean, that's a pirate for sure, right? I feel like that's what pirates did all the time. Just be like, hey, you've got to pay a toll. You're coming through my Bay Area.
Tariff. We've held you up.
And I want a percentage of whatever you have.
Exactly. I want a percentage of what you've got.
But hey, do you want to buy some of my food that I just made? I love this entrepreneurship.
So, imagine if your local barista would hold up your car and say, right, I want all your best DVDs.
But smell my wonderful coffee. Do you want some? Huh?
So they started doing this, and they had little small boats to begin with, canoes, and then they would go back onto the islands and disappear into the forests where they had their camps. And then eventually they just started taking over the entire ship and started building up fleets of boats. And also a lot of the buccaneers as well were, for example, sailors on merchant boats or on naval boats, and they just didn't like the way they were being treated, so they would try to escape. Or in the case of merchant boats, just take the merchant and just throw them off the boat and keep the boat.
So were they technically the Pirates of the Caribbean that we consider and know?
They were totally the Pirates of the Caribbean, absolutely. And they were also very, very diverse, because you would have crews of pirates that would be English, French, Dutch, Spanish, very often enemies of each other. You would also have indigenous natives from the various different islands. And importantly, you would also have a lot of people who were ex-slaves. Very often, pirates would attack slaving boats, and they would free the slaves.
And then they would join. They would join. Yeah.
Blackbeard, famously, about 2/3 of his crew were freed slaves.
Well, we have more to talk about after the commercial break, because we've got to tell you about the good drama of Legends of Jose Gaspar. I mean, it made me chuckle.
There's a movie in this. There's a movie for sure.
Someone needs to make a movie, because this is so good. But we will talk about that when we come back after this break. This is Marine Conservation Happy Hour. We are your local Florida swashbucklers.
All hands on deck, raise a glass, and ready the crew. Now, back to Marine Conservation Happy Hour. Bold, briny, and just a bit rebellious. Now, your hosts, Dr. Scarlet Smash and Dr. Kraken McCracken.
This is the Marine Conservation Happy Hour. I'm Dr. Scarlet Smash, and this is Dr. Kraken, and we are your local Florida swashbucklers, bringing you Florida ocean and bay news topics, pirate stories, and shenanigans. Grab your drink and come on board. Jose Gaspar. Dr. Kraken, Jose Gaspar, we don't know if this man even existed, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of stories about him. And let's not go to my favorite story, okay, because we'll start with the nice, refined story of Jose Gaspar. But
the man of privilege.
Yes. The smart Spanish nobleman that was brilliant.
Well educated.
Ranked up to an admiral. It was a key advisor of the King Charles III.
Hung around in court in all his finery. Well educated. Could do math and geometry. Could politics.
In Spain. He's in Spain at this point in time that we're telling you. Early years, okay, of his life. But they say during this time that he was such a nobleman. He was the mastermind of stealing crown jewels.
So he was like the Ocean's One of Spain, doing a heist
on his own people.
Jewels.
Yes, on his own king. Okay, I love this story so much.
I love this story. It would be a great movie. I think it would be really hard to fence or sell the Spanish crown jewels. I think someone would notice.
Well, and so, okay, the thought is that he basically seized a vessel and a Spanish fleet and fled, right? And fled, abandoned his wife, abandoned his children, took those jewels and fled over here. Okay, that is one story. And you're right. Who's gonna purchase crown jewels from this man? That I don't know. That's a bit far-fetched. Okay. The other story. Oh, this one's good too. I love this one because it's always got to be about the lover that got hurt, that's mad at him. What did he do? Was it the lover? Was it not his wife? Was it his mistress that was upset with him? Apparently, that person claimed that he did steal it And that's the reason. But he actually never did steal any jewels. And so he still had to flee because everyone was really upset with him. And the lover was in the Spanish royal court. So, if they're giving him a bad rep, he's got to go. I love that fancies my interest of who this lover was.
Oh yes, I like the idea of a lover, or maybe the Spanish court at that time. There was a lot of politics.
Oh,
maybe he was just on the wrong side.
Really upset someone. Who knows? Anyways, this is all storytelling. Okay, so to make sure that he did not get arrested, he fled to United States, or what? It wasn't United States at that time. It was Florida. Okay, we're just going to leave it at that.
Spanish colony of Florida.
Spanish colony of Florida. Then there's another story. And oh God, these are all so good. I don't know which one to pick for the movie, or does the movie for Hollywood for Jose Gaspar have multiple stories, or do we create all three of the stories together? I don't know, but this needs to happen. Okay. The next one was that he's not a nobleman, which I thought to myself at first, he wasn't a nobleman. He was poor. That's what they're saying. He was just a young man who kidnapped a young girl for ransom, then captured, was thrown in prison. And okay, so he either could join the Spanish Navy or go into prison after that, holding that girl for ransom. So he chose, what did he choose? Joining the Navy, Spanish Navy.
This did happen because sometimes they were so hard up for sailors that they would go to jails and then offer people.
Oh yeah.
But they wouldn't be like murderers, or
no.
they'd be people who'd like stolen a chicken.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, a lot of people that were in the Navy were not, not
a tough life. So they sometimes forced people to join the Navy.
Exactly. Stole the words out of my mouth. I love it. Okay. That's what they're saying. They fled over with the Spanish Navy, and he was part of the Spanish Navy. It's possible. And some say he was the junior officer of a Spanish frigate and fled from the English Navy.
Now, a frigate was a pretty big warship. So even if he was a junior officer, he'd be like a Navy lieutenant, He'd be pretty up there. He could probably sell a ship all by himself, because a frigate that would have like 150, 200 people on board these boats. So that'd be a big vessel. If he was a junior officer, if he got a smaller ship, certainly be able to sell that and manage a crew and command them and so on.
Completely. But we're not really sure. We don't know which one is the actual true story. Now, Kraken, I had to look up this man and see who Jose Gaspar was, because listen, we have statues of Jose Gaspar everywhere in bars and stuff like that. And he looks like Captain Morgan. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like a good looking man.
Well, you know what the real Captain Morgan looked like? He
doesn't
doesn't look like the picture on the bottle. The real Captain Morgan was a fat, ginger Welsh guy.
Get out of here.
Who was balding. There are pictures of him, and he's got like a little scraggly mustache, like he can't grow a beard properly, and he's got a bald head.
Oh my God.
Like a big, like Ben Franklin fringe and a comb over. But yeah, he was a chubby ginger. He was
that cracks me
not the
up.
Sexy Captain Morgan that
we see all the time.
Ads.
Oh
no.
Oh no. So this illustration of Jose Gaspar, Kraken, when I look at it, I see something created by Picasso.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
Like,
he doesn't look...
one eyeball is like higher than the other. The man looks silly. Actually, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Van Gogh.
Yeah, those pictures of Van Gogh.
Yes.
Yeah. Sort of skinny.
A Picasso Van Gogh.
Googly eyes.
So, villain, technically thought of as a villain because all pirates were considered thought of as a villain, turned into hero. And how did he do that? Well, instead of him getting captured by a U.S. Navy vessel. He wrapped himself up in iron chains or whatever and jumped off the ship. So he technically like committed suicide.
Or did
he? Exactly, Dr. Kraken, because there was no body found. You would think at some point after any kind of sea creature down there eating, chomping, whatever, if he even was chained up on the bottom of the ocean, there would at least be bits, right? It would be like maybe the head would finally be buoyant enough to come up. You know,
pirate coat.
Something. You would think something, right? But nothing was recorded. And it gets even better because everyone says that he hid hidden booty, treasure, a lot of it. And it's still hidden to this day. That's what they say.
Now, I have to quibble about this bit of the myth because the whole thing about buried pirate treasure, I think there is only one record of this happening historically, and it happened in the Indian Ocean, nowhere near the Caribbean. Most people get the idea of buried treasure from Treasure Island. They didn't actually bury their treasure because, you have to go and dig it back up again. What if you died?
Here's one of my theories, Dr. Kraken. What if he never did wrap himself up in anything like the anchor or chains or anything like that? What if he just leaped into the water, swam onto the shore, and got his hidden treasure? And he's right now in Mexico. Anyways, I love all this story. But how did this all become Gasparilla as we know it? Well, it's because in the early 1900s, they really needed to figure out how to promote the city more because they were competing with a lot of places in the United States, a lot of cities. Well, guess what? They definitely found a way to create an incredible and sought out event. The first annual Pirate Festival of Gasparilla started in 1904 when the Ye Mystic crew of Gasparilla planned a surprise mock attack that was basically going to be part of the May Day celebration. But no one knew about it. This is the best part. The first ever citywide celebration was created by the Miss Louise Dodge. She was society editor of the Tampa Tribune, and George Hardy. They were kind of like the masterminds of all of this. And they worked with the federal government of Tampa. They created the Ye Mystic crew of Gasparilla, which was 40 members that were planning this surprise. So it evolved. Jose Gaspar, if he was still alive to this day and he had vampire blood and could stay alive this long, he would ask for a percentage of how much revenue the Gasparilla Pirate Festival creates, Dr. Kraken. This whole thing brings in so many tourists. We're talking about 300,000 spectators just for the parade. That's not including the resident population, the cops, all these other people that are involved. We're going into the 400,000.
So like nearly 500,000 people.
It became huge. Revenue. Ooh, Gaspar is definitely, even if he asks for a quarter, he's going to be wealthy. Okay?
Yeah, we've got all the people coming in to see this.
We got flights, hotels,
food,
restaurants,
alcohol. Souvenirs.
Oh, we don't forget all the garb. So people are pirate gear, floats, the pirate floats, lots and lots of stuff is involved in it. And we're talking, and don't forget Ubers and all these things. We're talking about more than 40 million in revenue. Gaspar's like Hello. I'll take a quarter of that and live perfectly fine and happy. But yeah, it is. I mean, it has some incredible history. I'm just so proud to be in Tampa and experiencing all this. Well, I hope you enjoyed all of our shenanigans. This is the Marine Conservation Happy Hour. I'm Dr. Scarlet Smash. That's Dr. Kraken. And we're your local Florida swashbucklers.